Imagine sitting in a noisy, crowded Starbucks. It's loud, espresso machines are going off, people are chatting, but somehow, you instantly hear your name being called by the barista from across the room. How does your brain filter out 100 voices to catch just one? It's not magic. It's a psychological framework called signal detection theory. By the end of this video, you won't just understand how your brain processes the world, but you'll learn a secret hack to stop overthinking, make better decisions under pressure, and reduce your daily anxiety. Let's dive in. In psychology, signal detection theory is basically how we make decisions under conditions of uncertainty. Every second, our brain is bombarded with noise, distractions, random thoughts, background sounds. And our job is to find the signal, the actual important information. Let's break it down into 4 simple outcomes, using something we all do, waiting for an important text message from someone you like. Number 1. The hit. Your phone vibrates, you check it, and boom, a text from them. You detected the signal correctly. Number 2. The miss. Your phone vibrates in your pocket, but you're so distracted watching Netflix that you don't even notice. You missed the signal. Number 3. The false alarm. You feel a vibration in your pocket, your heart skips a beat. You pull your phone out, and nothing. Just your imagination. This is your brain playing tricks on you. Number 4. The correct rejection. Your phone doesn't vibrate, and you logically know there's no text, so you don't check it. Why does this matters in daily American life? Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool theory, but how does this apply to my life? It applies to everything. Let's look at a few real-life scenarios. Scenario 1. The midnight driver. Imagine you are driving home late at night, down a dark, foggy highway in the Midwest or upstate New York, classic deer country. You're tired, your headlights are cutting through the mist, and the only sound is the hum of your tires. Suddenly, a dark shape flickers on the edge of the road. Is it a massive deer about to jump into your lane? Or is it just a weird-looking bush swaying in the wind? You have milliseconds to decide. If you slam on the brakes for a bush, you've just caused a false alarm, risking a rear-end collision from the car behind you. But if you ignore it, assuming it's a bush, and it actually is a deer, that's a fatal miss. The brain's high-stakes guessing game. Why does our brain freeze or panic in these moments? In psychology, this is called signal detection theory. Every day, your brain is bombarded with information, and it constantly has to separate the signal, the actual danger, the deer, from the noise, harmless distractions, the bush, shadows, or fog. When visibility is perfect, telling a deer from a bush is easy. But add fog, darkness, and fatigue, the noise, and your brain gets confused. It is forced into a high-stakes gamble. Which mistake is cheaper to make? A false alarm, breaking for nothing? Or a miss, crashing into a 200-pound buck? Your brain calculates the survival math in literally a fraction of a second. How to hack your brain's decision-making. You can't control the fog or the deer, but you can train your brain to handle this signal versus noise problem better. Here is how you can use this concept to stay safe. Shift your bias. Choose the safer mistake. In high-risk situations like driving at night in deer country, consciously decide to accept more false alarms. Tell yourself, I will brake for the bushes. By lowering your threshold for braking, you might feel a little silly stopping for a shadow, but you completely eliminate the chance of a fatal miss. Reduce the internal noise. Your brain can process visual signals much faster when it's not distracted. Turn down the podcast, ask your passengers to pause the conversation, and focus entirely on the road. Less mental noise equals faster reaction times. Give yourself more milliseconds. The simplest scientific solution? Slow down and use high beams whenever possible. Dropping your speed by just 10 miles per hour gives your brain the extra milliseconds it needs to accurately tell the difference between a harmless bush and a dangerous deer. We are all midnight drivers in different areas of our lives. We use signal detection theory every day. Is that weird email a scam? The signal? Or just a clumsy newsletter? The noise? Is that pain in your chest a heart attack? The signal? Or just heartburn? The noise? Whenever the cost of a miss is catastrophic, like hitting a deer or ignoring a health symptom, always set your brain to accept a false alarm. It is always better to brake for a bush than to crash into a deer. Scenario 2. Dating and social cues. Imagine you are on a first date at a cozy local coffee shop. You're a little nervous, sipping your latte, and you decide to drop a slightly goofy joke to break the ice. Your date laughs and smiles. Immediately, your brain goes into overdrive. Was that genuine? I am really into you, left the signal? Or was it just a polite, I don't want to make things awkward chuckle? The noise? If you assume they like you and lean in, but they were just being nice, you risk an embarrassing false alarm coming on too strong. But if you assume they are just being polite and you pull back emotionally, and they actually liked you, you just committed a miss, potentially losing out on a great relationship. Why is reading social cues so exhausting? Once again, it comes down to signal detection theory, but this time, your ego is on the line. Our brains are hardwired to protect us from the pain of social rejection. For people who struggle with self-doubt or social anxiety, this protection mechanism goes into overdrive. They develop a very strict filter. To avoid the embarrassment of a false alarm, thinking someone likes them when they don't, their brain automatically labels almost everything as noise. They tell themselves they are just being nice, or they probably laugh at everyone's jokes. Because they doubt the positive signals, they experience a high volume of misses. They walk away from the date thinking it was a dud, while the other person goes home thinking, I guess they just weren't into me. How to stop missing the signals? You can't read minds, but you can definitely recalibrate your brain's social radar. Here is how you can stop missing great connections. Look for clusters, not just one cue. A polite laugh is easy to fake, but body language isn't. Stop obsessing over the laugh itself and look for a cluster of signals. Are their feet pointed toward you? Are they maintaining strong eye contact? Are they asking follow-up questions? If you see 3 positive signs together, that's a clear signal. Lower your rejection shield. People with social anxiety hate false alarms, the awkwardness. But to find genuine connection, you have to accept that occasional awkwardness is the price of admission. Tell yourself, it is okay if I misread a situation sometimes. I'd rather be a little awkward than miss out on love. Send a test ping. If you are unsure if it's a signal or noise, send a small, safe signal back. Give them a genuine compliment or ask a slightly deeper question. If they mirror your energy and lean, you've got your answer. This doesn't just apply to romantic dates. Think about job interviews, networking events, or trying to make new friends as an adult. We constantly second-guess if people actually like us, or if they are just tolerating us. Here is a life-changing hack. Assume people like you. When you set your brain to assume that people's smiles, laughs, and compliments are genuine, the signals, you become warmer, more confident, and more approachable. Even if you get a few false alarms along the way, you will stop missing the people who truly want to connect with you. Scenario 3. The workaholic's email anxiety. Picture this. It's 9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. You finally logged off. You are lounging on the couch watching Netflix and trying to unwind. Suddenly, your phone buzzes on the coffee table. Instantly, your heart rate spikes and your stomach drops. Is it urgent? We have a massive problem email from your boss? The signal? Or is it just an automated 20% off coupon from Target? The noise? If you ignore an urgent message, you fear you'll drop the ball, a Mississippi. But if you jump off the couch in a panic just to see a promotional newsletter, you've suffered a false alarm. The problem? Your body just pumped cortisol and adrenaline into your system for a coupon. Why it happens? The burnout trap. Why does a simple phone vibration trigger a mini panic attack? When you are rested and relaxed, your brain has a strong filter. It can easily ignore the noise of daily life. But when you are overworked, stressed, or trapped in the modern hustle culture, your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, gets stuck in overdrive. Because the perceived cost of a miss, upsetting your boss, losing a client, feels catastrophic to a burnt-out mind, your brain dramatically lowers its threshold for danger. It decides, Everything is a crisis until proven otherwise. As a result, you live in a constant state of false alarms. You are treating every single notification as a high-stakes emergency, which completely drains your mental battery and makes true relaxation impossible. How to cure notification anxiety. You cannot stop the digital world from sending you messages, but you can train your environment and your brain to filter the signal from the noise. Create the VP lane. Tech boundaries. Stop letting the noise enter your living room. Use the focus or do not disturb modes on your smartphone. Set it up so that only calls or texts from your boss, partner, or kids, true signals, can come through after 7 p.m. Let all the newsletters and Slack pings, the noise, wait silently until tomorrow. Batch process your checks. Instead of reacting like Pavlov's dog to every ping, take control. Tell yourself, I will check my email once at 8 p.m. to ensure nothing is on fire, and then I am done. You control the flow of information, not the other way around. Reevaluate the miss. Ask yourself a logical question. Will the company literally collapse if I answer this at 9 a.m. tomorrow? Usually, the answer is no. When you realize the cost of a miss isn't actually fatal, your brain stops generating so many false alarms. We are living in an era of notification fatigue. This doesn't just apply to work emails. It applies to breaking news alerts, social media drama, and group chat gossip. If you treat every piece of incoming information as an urgent signal, you will burn out. Protect your peace. Learn to categorize 90% of the digital world as harmless noise. Remember, just because someone else creates a sense of urgency doesn't mean it has to become your emergency. The psychology of bias. Why we make mistakes. If our brains are supercomputers, why do we still break for harmless bushes, misread a date's body language, or panic over a junk email? According to signal detection theory, every time you make a mistake, whether it's a false alarm or a miss, it comes down to two invisible forces operating in your brain: sensitivity and bias. Force 1. Sensitivity. Sensitivity is simply how sharp your radar is at any given moment. It is your raw ability to focus and process information. Think about your phone's camera trying to focus in the dark. If the lens is dirty or the battery is dying, the picture will be blurry. Your brain works the same way. If you have been staring at a screen for 10 hours, or if you are running on 3 hours of sleep and too much iced coffee, your physical sensitivity plummets. You can't focus. The signal and the noise blur together. Making mistakes is almost inevitable. Force 2. Bias. While sensitivity is physical, bias is purely psychological, and this is where human behavior gets fascinating. In psychology, bias isn't about politics or prejudice, it is about your brain's risk management strategy. Subconsciously, your brain asks, which mistake will cost me more? Based on the situation, your brain shifts into one of two modes. The better safe than sorry mode. Liberal bias. Imagine you are a doctor looking at a blurry spot on an X-ray. Is it a tumor, the signal, or just a weird shadow, the noise? As a doctor, your brain adopts a liberal bias. You lower your threshold for danger. You would much rather trigger a false alarm, order extra MRIs, and stress the patient out for a week than accidentally commit a miss. Send them home and let cancer spread. In life or death health situations, we are wired to overreact. The beyond a reasonable doubt mode. Conservative bias. Now, imagine you are a judge or jury member in an American courtroom. Is the defendant actually guilty, the signal? Or is the evidence circumstantial, the noise? Here, your brain shifts to a conservative bias. The American justice system demands a high threshold for action. You would rather commit a miss, let a guilty criminal walk free, than trigger a horrific false alarm, lock an innocent person in prison for life. You only act when you are 100% sure. How to use this today? Most of the stress and mistakes in our daily lives happen because our sensitivity is broken, or we are using the wrong bias for the situation. Fix your hardware. Before making a big decision, like buying a car or sending an angry email, check your sensitivity. Are you hungry, tired, or distracted? If yes, step away. Do not make choices when your radar is weak. Check your software. Are you treating a typo in a work presentation like an X-ray tumor, overreacting with a liberal bias? Or are you ignoring your car's check engine light like a courtroom judge demanding 100% proof before going to the mechanic, underreacting with a conservative bias? Having the best strategy in life. Match your psychological bias to the actual stakes of the situation. Save the doctor mode for real emergencies, and you will save yourself a lifetime of unnecessary anxiety. Our brains are incredible machines, but they aren't perfect. By understanding signal detection theory, you can stop reacting to the noise and start paying attention to what truly matters. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the biggest false alarm your brain gives you in daily life? Is it phantom phone vibrations or overthinking a text message? Let me know down in the comments below. I read all of them. If you found value in this video and want to learn more psychological hacks to improve your everyday life, hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into how your mind works. See you again in the next video. Until then, stay well and stay healthy.